Hello, 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 hello. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody. Happy 2022. We're starting the year very eventfully, very exciting, I guess. Same as 2020 and 2021. This started on an exciting footing. So we haven't done the show in a couple of weeks because of the holiday and New Year's and Christmas and all those things. We're restarting now on a regular basis every day, and we got exciting things to do. This is a monumental year. This is a big year. This year is when we'll see COVID kind of, how should I say, become the norm, I guess is what it is. But more than that, COVID causing speeding up, even more so than 2021 and more so than 2020, of this transition from the old economy into the new economy. So that's what we're going to talk about for much of the month, I guess. So remember this show, we're starting fresh again, right? Because last year we had a lot of shows. We had maybe 50, 60 shows, which are all on YouTube, I must remind you. Oh, by the way, let me check the sound because we haven't done this in a while. So let me make sure the sound and everything is okay. Great, excellent. Thank you, madam. So we got our sound okay, lighting okay, everything, equipment is fine because we had the studio shut down for a couple of weeks, and we're back. I'm so happy to be back. It's exciting. It's very exciting. I had a peaceful, quiet vacation, but today is an important day. Ontario is on a lockdown from midnight tonight. Restaurants are nobody can dine in. I mean, you can do takeout, but basically the restaurant business is over for now, for the next 3 weeks, and then there are bars, restaurants, gyms, training centers, all those places are closed. You can't go in, and big places like malls, ironically, are 50% capacity in churches and those places. So my theory is after 3 weeks we're going to see a huge spike in the numbers, and we'll have even a more bigger shutdown. But anyway, we're starting the year 2022 on this note where tonight at midnight, Ontario goes into a shutdown, following much of Europe actually, and also Quebec. Quebec which is part of Canada, province in Canada, if you don't live in Canada, is also on a lockdown, and they're serious. There's a curfew there from 10 to 5, and the police are out on the street with the megaphone, telling people, stay out the street, go home. It's exciting times. Yeah, I know you might not think it's exciting times. I'm excited. The reason I'm excited, not because bad things are happening, I'm excited because of the change that is going to happen, that we're engineering at this momentous time. So our generation is living in very, very momentous times, and like the Bible puts it this way: we shall see changes in the seasons, the times, and the age. Where that kind of monumental change is going on, significant shifts in our foundation, the very foundation of society, and that's what we want to talk about today. So last year, if you remember the last show, I know we might not have, well, the notifications might bring some curious people to look at what we're doing. The show is called The Qualped Life. My name is Sean, of course, it's all on the screen, and the name of the show is The Qualped Life, and The Qualped Life is life design, how to design your life. So we're a company. We develop tools, technologies, training programs on how to design and live a life where you're authoring your future. You are master of your domain. You live futuristic, and that's what the whole show is about. It's about the future, and that's why today it's exciting, because I want to, as Ontario heads into a lockdown tonight at midnight, we want to focus not on what is going on right now. We don't even want to focus on the past and how the past was, whether it was glorious or whether it was not glorious. Whatever the past was, it's over and done with. We learn our mistakes. We have history is a teacher. We have life lessons from history. That's our classroom, history, right? So we learn from history, but instead of panicking about today and the world is going into a COVID lockdown and this Omicron virus is spreading all over the world and whatnot, who knows what other virus is coming after and all those things. Let's focus on the positive. This is what we're about, right? We want to position ourselves on the road to the designed life. We want to alter our future. We want to design and write and develop and create and invent the person that we should be for the future that is coming. Okay? So that's what we're all about on the show. It's called Qualped Life. And my name is Sean. I come from a range of background. You can find stuff online. I'm not going to go through it here. You can Google us or check our website, qualped.com. We just launched exciting news. We just launched our cryptocurrency, Qualped Coin or Qped, and we're going to be listing on an exchange very soon. We finished our white paper and we finished the website and everything. You can check it out. It's all on qualped.com website. The tab is there. Qualped Coin. Check it out and see we're on the Ethereum blockchain and the Ethereum platform, and I think that's a stable platform and a very solid, the blockchain is it has good integrity, solid integrity, and it's the future of Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think is the future of money, of economics, and that's what we want to talk about today. We say some things on this show. A lot of people would think we're out of the box, and we are out of the box actually, but they might think we're off the box. But we based our if you want to say analysis, research, and report. That's what we do: research, analysis, and report on deep research. Right? We study these things. We're futurists. That's what we are. We're futurists, and we go out there and we want to create for ourselves and the people with us a path into the future, because life is about the future, right? Tomorrow is what matters. Today is gone. Like I woke up this morning, you woke up this morning, we went through the day, but it's now night, the day is over. Tomorrow is what we prepare for. And so this show and all that we do is about preparation for the future that is fast advancing towards us. The future rushes towards us. It's not there waiting for us. It's coming towards us. So we got to be prepared for whatever is coming. And so we try to do on the show, we give content that would prepare us and our viewers, our students, the people who join us, or the members of our club and all that, to be authors of that future, to invent ourselves in a way that we encounter the future not with panic, not with fear, not with trepidation, but with excitement, right? And live exotically and live powerfully, empowered human beings, the individual. And that's what we want to do this year. We want to encourage you. Join us. Come on the platform. Check out our show every single night. Every single night we're gonna be on. Either starting at 6 or starting at 7, depending if it's winter or summer. Okay, so we're gonna be changing times depending on the seasons, right? But it's quite exciting what is on the horizon, and I want to talk about that a lot. I mean, cryptocurrency. I still talk to people. Even this year, so today is what? Today is the 4th. By the way, Sharoz, our shareholder, his birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday, Sharoz, if you're watching the show. All the best for 2022, and everybody who's watching, all the best for 2022 anyway, because of Happy New Year's, right? So, but Sharoz especially, I want to say happy birthday to you, and Happy New Year's, and hope things work out well for us in the company, but for yourself as well, right? Okay. I was talking to some people this year, yesterday, the day before, 2022, after the New Year's, and I'm totally astonished, I must say, because a couple of people who I have deep respect for, their intelligence and everything, and it's not about intelligence, it's about being aware, right? It's being aware of life and the world and what is going on. But I talked to some people, older people and also younger people too, and they had no clue about cryptocurrency. And some of my shareholders in the company, we would all be shocked by that, because that's the world we're moving into, that's the world we're living in. But I encountered these people and they said, oh, what is cryptocurrency? What is blockchain? And what is NFT? What is the metaverse? And that has become such a norm for us in this company. Even over the holiday season, Christmas and New Year's and stuff, the people I'm dealing with, that's all we talked about. In fact, I spent the holiday, relaxing on movies and all that, but also developing our crypto coin with our developer. And we launched the coin, and it was done over the holiday, so I'm glad that we were productive in some way. But I really want to focus today on how momentous these times are, and I'm going to say some things you might think they're outlandish and they're ridiculous and they can't be true. Trust me, look at what is going on. You know, let me say something. Bitcoin, the amount of transactions Bitcoin and Ethereum. Okay, forget Bitcoin because that's the big one. Ethereum. Ethereum is the second major cryptocurrency in the world. Ethereum. If you never heard about it, Google it. Ethereum. Ethereum. It's developed by a young Canadian guy who's developed it when he was 1920. So he's still young in his 20s, but he's a he's a billionaire. And of course he's Canadian, but his parents were Russian, so Putin and everybody he moved to Russia eventually. So Ethereum works out of Russia, but it's become a phenomenal platform for NFT and cryptocurrency, of course. We actually mine Ethereum coins, myself and my shareholders, some of them. But also, listen to this. This is how serious the changes that we are facing would impact you and me, right? And we gotta take it into consideration. We can't just live and not consider the future and think everything. You know, a lot of people, when the Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford, yesterday I think it was, that he announced the lockdown from tonight, midnight. Restaurants, nobody could go to restaurants and gyms and all that. And people were shocked. People were like, what is going on again? Another lockdown like 2020, like 2021, 2022, COVID should be over. And there were actually people who were upset. There are people who were tremendously upset. And this thing is starting to get to the mental health of people, right? They're thinking, how am I going to live? How am I going to work? How am I going to feed my family and pay my bills and all that? And so people are freaking out. We want to bring the message because we do the background check. We look into what is going on. We study the future. We study society. I'm a journalist, right? And we're a media company. And so we delve into current affairs and what is going on and the future, where futurists more importantly. And so we want to bring that information to you, that knowledge to those who need to. We don't know everything, right? You know, some of you would know more than I do or more than we do in the company, but we interact and we share information, and that's the whole idea, that we bring an awareness and awakeness to the people around us, right? Now the purpose of the show is to do that, is to bring an awareness to the people who connect with us, who encounter us, but also because we do so much research, we do so much background information, we want to share, right? You just give people knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. We believe that. But at the same time also, it's this show which we want to really develop in 2020, in the first quarter of 2020, so January, February, March of 2022, into a multimedia, mass media operation that is live streamed, and hopefully we can go 24/7. We got to raise a lot of money, a lot of resources, the team, a lot of skilled people we would need for camera work and all those things, also the technology. But our goal is to go 24/7 with a mass media operation, with a bunch of shows, different shows. We're dealing with 4 areas, of course: wealth, wisdom, wellness, and worthiness, social values, right? Social values. So look out for all that. We have big plans. So the show is both to develop the company, but also to network the people around us and let everybody feel that we're positive and we're moving forward and we're not panicking with what is going on with the world situation, right? So I'm talking to these people, a few people, and they haven't heard of cryptocurrency or Bitcoin. Not Bitcoin. Cryptocurrency is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is cryptocurrency. NFT, metaverse, especially metaverse, and those things. And yet today Apple announced, was it today or yesterday? Apple announced that they're bringing out their new glasses. And if you see the prototype of the glass, samples of the glass really, which they're releasing this year, it's going to replace smartphone. It's regular glasses, but you know, it projects the screen in front of you. You don't need anything with screen, including computer, TV, or smartphones. That's the world we're moving into. And a lot of people, I'm talking to people and they're saying, what are you talking about? That thing is 50 years away from now. People are not educated. The media is doing a terrible job of informing the population of what is going on, right? And I talk to politicians and they have no clue what's going on. Absolutely no clue. We want to bring that kind of information to this table, to this stage, to this show, and as many as people as possible, you know, let them know what is really happening. So I started out with saying about Ethereum. Ethereum, do you know, in the past 2 weeks, just over 2 weeks, 2 weeks and a day or two. Ethereum did about, I think it's 5 or 10 trillion dollars in transactions on the internet. Ethereum. Now, a lot of people, well, not a lot of people are not watching the show, but a lot of people who are watching the show, the percentage, I mean, the bigger percentage, would not have heard of Ethereum even. I'm sure. Because based on the, seeing how people react when we talk about these things, a lot of people haven't, even if they've heard of Ethereum, they don't know what it really is. But Ethereum has done over $5 trillion in business in 2 weeks, compared to PayPal, which did about $200 billion US dollars worth of transactions. So PayPal, which has been around so long and dominates the space of online payment, has done about $250 billion in business transactions. Ethereum, which a lot of people haven't heard of yet, has done over $5 trillion in business. Trillion. In 2 weeks, in just 2 weeks. That's how serious the times are that we live in. We live in serious times, and I want to talk about that today. And this week we're going to delve more and more. The reason I want to finish this off today, we kind of left off last year with the last week that we did that show. This show, we talked about the future and what is coming in 2022 to 2025. But there was one show that I should have wrapped up with. This is the show. Not to wrap up last year, but to continue into this year with the same theme of last year, which is how do we alter the future, right? How do we create the kind of future that we want? So, I said last year that, okay, forget last year. It's over and done with, right? We said that. Let's stick with the future. Let's talk about now. One thing that I've said before, and I'm going to say again, is that the world economy as we know it today, the world economy as we know it over the past 70 years, since World War II, 75 years, since World War II. Because after World War II, the world had to rebuild, right? There was a big rebuilding program with the Marshall Plan and all that. And we built a certain world which was industrialism. It was based on industrialization, where you built factories and you had workers and you had employees and everything was money based, and you had consumers and you had producers and you had workers and we were categorized by numbers, social insurance number and all that. Excuse me. Of course, before that I talk a lot about these things. We had the age before the age of industrialization, which is about 125 years old. Before that, there was the age of feudalism. And the age of feudalism, money wasn't such a big deal. What was a big deal in the age of feudalism? This is back our foreparents, right? It was farming, it was land. If you owned land, you became royalty. You got a title from the king or the queen, because it was all monarchies ruling back then, right? And land was the currency of wealth and power. But then the industrial age came and kind of evened out the playing field, and everybody started looking towards money as the currency that would to do transactions, right? That would bring wealth and power. The thing that would bring wealth and power is money, is finances, right? And so we saw, and of course I talked about these things before. It came out of Adam Smith's book Wealth of Nations, where Adam Smith was a writer back in 1776. He published this book called Wealth of Nations, and out of that, the ideas of specialization and assembly line and all that Henry Ford and then Andrew Carnegie picked up, and they became the great industrialists in the early 20th century, and they built the world that we know today, right? Concrete and steel and everything based on money. This is how momentous the times are that we're living in today. That industrial age is fast collapsing. It's coming to an end. And so we are going to see, and I say these things with deep optimism. I don't say these things with pessimism, or I don't look to the future with a kind of fearful mindset. I look at the future with an excited mindset, and a mindset that is saying, I can't wait for tomorrow to come. Here is why. We are seeing, yes, money equalized the world, and democracy along with money and all that. We had basically, we still had class system. You still had, we still didn't have a Marxist world. Not that I'm saying we should. But we didn't. We still had the upper class and the middle class and the poor class and all those things. But money generally brought about the system, which we can call meritocracy. Through your merit, you can rise, or you can gain position in society and stuff. Given corruption and lobbying and all those things. Generally, in the industrial age, money equalized humanity, and we could, very broadly speaking, rise according to how we accumulate money. Right? Now that mindset is still there. A lot of people in this COVID shutdown today, as Ontario goes into a shutdown tonight, a lot of people are panicking for the very fact, the very reason that they see their money supply, their money flow is threatened. They see a shortage of money. How if we're gonna stay home and places are locking down, how are we gonna make money? And so this is driving fear in people. It's driving panic in people. We want to bring the message that you need not fear, you need not panic. Right? Because here is what is going on with society. Yes, the economic order is, I want to be very careful with my words. The economic order is diminishing, to use that word. It is diminishing. It is being disrupted. It is being even dismantled. You can look at it however you want. But the global economic order that really became entrenched after World War II, so from about 1945, 1946, 1950, onwards to now, so you're looking about 70, 75 years, we've had a system of an economic order twinned with democracy and pop culture. You can't discount the media, right? Pop culture played a big role in making the world what it is today. But we live in a world today that the system that we developed and mankind worked for 70 years doesn't work anymore. Now, let me plug something here. We have a show, a talk show here, and we're speaking to a certain kind of people. We're speaking to the people who are originals, who are visionaries, who are, you want to make a difference in society. For example, you want to write and publish a book. You're not an ordinary person. Those are the people we speak with. If you don't have such an ambition, if you don't have such a hunger for life and for legacy and for living in love for humanity, then if you continue engaging with us through the show, through our web offerings and our training programs and courses online and books and all those things, we hope you develop that mindset, which we call originals or visionaries or authors of the future. The people who create the future, people not Bill Gates and Elon Musk and Zuckerberg and Facebook for changing Facebook to Meta and all those things. And they say these guys are doing bad things to the world. Population reduction and all. The conspiracy theories are bound out there. Those guys are futurists. They look to the future. They create humanity. They write the blueprint for man. Because we have a fallacy. Ordinary people like us, we live with a myth that life happens. Tomorrow just happens. You wake up and somehow whatever is there you're going to do. People don't realize that tomorrow is being planned 100 years ago, 50 years ago by a certain group of people called visionaries. And there's an organization in the world today called the Elders. And they actually are philosophers, well, they're former heads of state. And, Desmond Tutu, who died last week, was a big part of them. And of course Mandela and heads of states around like Sweden, Denmark and stuff. They're all members of this organization called the Elders. And their job is to go out there and make society more advanced, more enlightened. And that is going on, that is happening. The Jesuits within the Catholic Church, which the Pope is a member of that order within the Catholic Church, their goal is to improve humanity and bring about a more humane order and stuff. So there are people in the world who are planning for the future, including Bill Gates and Elon Musk and all of them. And we like to think of ourselves as along that train. We are at the back of the train, we're small guys, but we're on that track. We follow these guys and we want to move not doing bad things if they do bad things. And when we look at Epstein's case and all that, we think, yes, the elite get into weird stuff. When you have money and power, you believe you're invincible, right? We're not like that. We're humble people and we set out to make a difference in the world, but we look at the people who have made a difference in the world. The people who have cleared a path for humanity. get this. Tomorrow is not just there waiting for us. We gotta create that tomorrow before tomorrow arrives. You get it? We gotta put train tracks there before the train can run on it. You can't bulldoze a train ahead into a forest and expect it to go forward. But that's how most of humanity lives. We wake up in the morning and we say we're gonna jump on the train and we don't care if there's train tracks there, we're gonna just go. We assume that somebody would have put those train tracks in place and that they're well maintained and they're clear and the train can go smoothly through. Well, the same thing with life. The future is something that we have to plan and make, and those are the people we talk to. So if you find, the reason I'm saying that is if you find what I'm saying highfalutin and complicated and oh, why is this guy doing live streaming on social media with these heavy things, a 1 hour video on YouTube, which people have said to me, realize we're talking to a particular audience, or a particular mindset, or a particular worldview, right? And we hope if you're not of that worldview, that you would come on board with us, that you would kind of cultivate the mindset of being a futurist, of thinking of the future and seeing life 10 years ahead instead of today, right? Since I'm not that young now, but since I'm a young guy, I always say to people, including my dad, I remember having this conversation with him, that life is not about today or tomorrow, it's about 5 years from now, it's about 10 years from now, it's about 20 years from now. And if it's not for us, it's for our generations to come, right? So we gotta be futuristic, and those are the people we're talking to. So based on having clarified that, my disclaimer, so to speak, I want to say that the world economy as we know it, this is what COVID is about. Today I was sitting, where was I? I was somewhere. Oh boy, I don't remember. I was sitting somewhere, and I went driving to get something at some store or something, because tomorrow most places won't be open. It's a lockdown in Ontario, right? So, and somebody was talking, I can't remember who it was. Well, somebody I don't know, but where it was, I can't remember. And this person was saying, oh, they're frustrated by COVID, they're a waiter in a restaurant, and they're frustrated by COVID, and they don't know what they're going to do, how they're going to pay their rent, and this lady's kids had to, they couldn't pay their rent last year and moved home to her house, and she was the only one working and stuff, and she's panicking and thinking, what am I going to do? And I didn't say anything because, I'm shy for one, I don't hear my views in public except here, in the safety of a studio. But I'm thinking we really need to reach out to people. We really need to reach out to people and let them know what COVID is all about. COVID is all about, we are going through a serious, momentous, fundamental, not just a change, but a transformation in human society. And here's what's going on. And this is, I'm going to focus on this just for today, and then for the rest of the week we can elaborate, right? And I'm going to say something really outlandish here that people are going to, I said it before, but if you haven't heard it, don't get on my case. Just give me a break and listen to me over the period of time that we do this show, and let's see if we can come to the same page. But here is what I'm sure, based on research, is going on. We are seeing a fundamental dismantling, or let's forget the word dismantling, a reset. Let's go to that phrase, the Great Reset that Prince Charles invented and came up with for the World Economic Forum to carry out this global agenda called the Great Reset. And the Great Reset is that society, after 75 years of the industrial age, excuse me, I need water again. The industrial age has outlived its usefulness. That's putting it very politely. The industrial age has outlived its usefulness because the most far-reaching effect, of course, of the industrial age is that it damages the very environment, the natural environment that we depend on to breathe this air that we call life. We are damaging with the industrial nature of society. Now, the industrial nature of society developed, of course, from Adam Smith in 1776 when he wrote and published his book, Wealth of Nations, but also after World War II, when the world really changed, feudalism collapsed, all the royalties, all the kingdoms and empires, countries became independent and all that, starting with India in 1948 after World War II, a whole collapse of the British Empire. We see a complete dismantling of the order of monarchies and sovereign states, sovereign kingdoms, empires. And we see nation states came into being, and the United Nations after World War I was League of Nations. It became United Nations. All these things are important to know. Because why? Why are they important to know? Because we know, if we know how the world is moving, then we can position ourselves to advance into the future the way we need to advance without, oh, Ontario is locking down, I'm going to panic, right? We know how to handle stuff. We know how to handle life and people and everything. And we know how to design our life, that we live with joy and peace and we achieve a legacy. Our generations to come must know that in 2022 we were alive and we were here. And Ontario was in a lockdown, but we didn't panic. We did something proactive. We got a book out, or we made a movie, or we share this vision with humanity, or something, or we do a live stream show, whatever it is, Let's do something instead of sitting there panicking. So people are complaining, and people are saying they don't know about the future. They don't even know what a metaverse or NFT or blockchain is and all that. What it's about. Now, I don't knock that. I'm not judging by any means. This is not about judgment, because I myself didn't know. When Bitcoin came out, I guess 2011 or 2010 or whenever Bitcoin came out, I had no idea it existed. If I did, I would have bought someone today be a multi-billionaire. But I had no clue it existed. I'm now getting into the space and learning, and immediately we jumped in and we got our own currency, the Qualpet coin, Qpet, right? So once you get knowledge, you gotta move, you gotta take action, you gotta believe in yourself and have confidence, get the right team together and make things happen. And that's what we want to encourage you here on the show. Don't panic in COVID, but what is going on, I think, this is my opinion, COVID is a camouflage, is a kind of a social engineering thing. Now this is my view, and maybe I shouldn't say it publicly, but it's a kind of social engineering thing whereby there must be a great reset of this industrial society that we built with steel and concrete. So much so that President Biden, we said all these things before, it's worth repeating as the year is starting. President Biden in the United States had to push through Congress and the Senate an infrastructure bill, which every country is doing, by the way. The old countries, the old developed countries like Europe and North America, the young developing countries like China, India, Brazil, and much of the world, right? Because the industrial age did lift humanity. We progressed. We made a lot of progress in democracy, in rising the middle class. A lot of people came out of poverty. Gross poverty doesn't exist anymore. So we made a lot of progress. You can't knock the industrial age, just like you can't knock the feudal age. It's a progressive stepping up of humanity, right? It's civilization advancing, like going up a stairs. Age by age by age, we becoming more and more human. Human beings are becoming more and more sophisticated. Now we have machines like robots and all that to serve us, and AI and AR and Internet of Things and augmented reality and virtual reality and all that. So man is advancing, and each age is a stepping up. But we've outlived the industrial age. We have outlived the industrial age. In other words, here's what I'm saying. We've outlived money. The way the financial system of the world, this is so outlandish. You're gonna say I'm talking craziness, but I'm not. The industrial age has so outlived its usefulness that we outlived the very tool that we use to advance in the industrial age, which is the monetary system, the financial system. That financial system now is useless to us. That's why you have a company like Apple suddenly becomes a $3 trillion company. One company, $3 trillion. And Elon Musk keeps hitting $300 billion. And these guys are 200 billion, 150 billion. So money, the financial system is like, they call it inflation. It's not really inflation. It's that there's such a devaluation of the, not the monetary value of the money, but the money itself. Money has become kind of meaningless. You could throw it up in the air and it multiplies and becomes billions of dollars and trillions of dollars, right? People are buying NFT for $5 million. Some people never heard of NFT. And Snoop Dogg is buying it for millions of dollars. Snoop Dogg is buying Snoop Dogg. You would know Snoop Dogg, but you might not know NFT. This is the humanity that we need to reset. And Kanye West and all, Drake and all these guys, they're all buying NFT and land in the metaverse. They're buying land in the metaverse for millions of dollars. So people are throwing money around like it's water. Money's not scarce anymore. It's abundant, it's everywhere, and of course debt is humongous. So the financial system that the world has depended on as the instrument, as the toolbox to advance in the industrial age has been outlived. It's outlived its usefulness. And which if the industrial age has outlived its usefulness, it means money has outlived its usefulness, as we see with the massive I don't want to use the word inflation, I don't like it, but for this purpose, inflationary expansion of monetary value in a company. There's no way Apple would have $3 trillion in gold or in real estate or in any what you would call physical assets, which is now nothing anymore. Physical assets, the physical space is diminishing so fast. But Apple doesn't have anything that you can put your hand on and say this is worth $3 trillion. It's all in figures. It's all in digital currency and on the stock market and in ledgers, right? It's all numbers. That's what it is. It's all virtual stuff. Same with Elon Musk. You can't walk, or any one of these guys, you can't walk in their house or their safe or their bank and say there is a safe with $200 billion in it. No, it doesn't work like that, right? So wealth is being redefined. The whole very concept of what money is and how we measure wealth, we still use the same language. We still say money, we still say wealth, we still say finances, we still say million and billions and all those things. But there's a fundamental shift happening right now. And that shift, and I want us to prepare for this. I want us to, if you watch this show every day and get other people to come and watch it, tell your friends, let's have a conversation. Maybe I'm wrong, but let's have a conversation and see if there is any merit in advancing into the future with this kind of thought system, with this kind of thinking and this kind of mindset, that we alter our future on this idea that the industrial age is being dismantled, and that's deliberate language, being dismantled. It's passive, but it also says a lot. Not only is it being dismantled, but that the industrial age, which is based on the foundation, is built on the foundation of the financial system. So if the industrial age of steel and concrete, as we see with Biden's infrastructure plan, which is worth $3 billion. It's over $4 billion between the two programs that Biden is putting through for this great reset of America. Rebuilding pipes, pulling out all the old pipes, sewer pipes, water pipes, all the pipes, installing internet fiber cable and 5G, which is tomorrow they're supposed to roll out 5G. Tomorrow, the next day, the 5th, they're supposed to, tomorrow, they're supposed to roll out 5G in America. And so we are seeing a great reset of society, and we see it physically. I don't take my word for it. Look at America. They're pulling out all their pipes, bridges, roads, everything they have to dismantle and remake into a new smart society. We're going to see the same thing happen with housing. We're going to see the same. You see it happening with cars. They're pulling the automobile industry. Gas stations will be shut down. You're going to have charging stations. These are not fantasy things. They're actually happening. Countries, after COP26 last year, November, 200 countries agreed to an agreement to a communique. What do you call it? They agreed. They came up with an agreement and they signed to it, saying that by 2030, 2035, gasoline cars are banned, basically worldwide. And that is humongous, right? So things are happening, and we can't look at society and say, oh, those guys are doing their things. The big guys in the background, they're doing their things, and we are just, ordinary people. We're gonna flow with the tide. Some of us, we want to join the bandwagon of those who are creating the future, those who are on the ground floor. When Web 1 happened back in the late 90s, when Google started and all those people, Microsoft, Windows, Apple, they all started in the late 90s, and we didn't benefit. I mean, I was young, right? Too young to even think about things like that. But a lot of people, some people benefited from Web 1, which was back then, Silicon Valley, right? A lot of millionaires, where Bill Gates became billionaire and all that. A lot of people benefited. Then Web 2 happened, 2.0, in the early 2000s, when social media came online, like Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. Well, maybe not Instagram, but a lot of social media sites came on what is called Web 2 or Web 2.0, the second phase of the web. And then now we're going through a third phase of the web. And yes, we can sit back and say, let it happen. And we'll just jump on board the augmented reality platform and metaverse and all those things. But some of us are saying, let's see if we can get in on the ground floor this time. Web 3, or third phase of web. In other words, the further development of the internet. Not the internet, but the whole, it's the internet, but the whole virtual space, right? The whole digital age is now upon us. And here is the ramification of that. The world as we know it, with money, economics, and finances, running everything, running every human being, money became more important than people. To the extent churches used to preach, the love of money is the root of all evil. And pastors would say, we don't love the money, we just want it. They don't love it, but they want it, right? Of course, it's semantics. My point is, money became so important that even the religious leaders hankered after money. That's what they wanted. Everybody wanted money. What I'm saying today, which is going to sound really outlandish, is that system is coming very, very fast to an end. We have people no less than Jack Dorsey, the founder of Twitter, who said that Bitcoin, within a couple of years, by the next US elections, will be far advanced in replacing the United States dollar. Bitcoin. Digital currency. Countries around the world, including the Canadian government and the US government, they're developing their own central bank digital currency. That's what it's called, CBDC, central bank digital currency. And their white papers, there's a news item today in the Canadian media where they talk about the Canadian government developed central bank. They were doing a study and they interviewed parliamentarians and prime minister and everybody on a digital currency, the Canadian digital currency through the central bank. So they're thinking about these things. They're well advanced behind the scenes, and that's what COVID is bringing about. COVID is bringing about a complete and total reset of society, which means a dismantling of the industrial age, which means by natural progression, if you dismantle the industrial age, then you dismantle the economic system. And if you dismantle the economic system, you dismantle the financial system, which is money. So we're going to see a revolution in money. It's already happening. And in finances. And we need to prepare for this, right? Because we're going to transition from physical fiat money into digital currencies, into digital money. The whole concept of buying and selling is going to go through a complete revolution. And yes, it sounds outlandish, it sounds crazy, it sounds like we believe the world that we live in today is the world that has always been. But trust me, my grandparents, your grandparents didn't live in the world we were living in. Our parents didn't live in the world we were living in. My parents didn't live in a world of smartphones and flat screen TV and laptops. Even automatic cars, they lived with manual cars. And in poor countries, they didn't even have cars. So the world is a different place generation by generation, and we must realize that when shifts happen, when paradigm shifts happen, when philosophical shifts happen, it's humongous, and a lot of people are left behind. But we live today in the age of literacy. Much of the world is educated. Much of the world can read and write. We have the internet. Everything is available on the internet. People read no matter what part of the world you're from. You can be from a tribe in the Amazon or wherever. You can have a smartphone and you can learn to read and you can know what's going on in the world. So it's a different time. And we need to take advantage of what's going on. I don't like the word advantage. We need to see the opportunities and realize that these are opportunities that empower us as individuals. And if we can get our act together, how do we get our act together? We come together. in conversation. And we say here, this is what I think is going on. This is what I see is going on. Here is how I can enlighten certain people, and people can enlighten me. We grow our insight, we grow our awakeness, and we're able to deal with life, right? So whether you're watching this video today on the live through whatever social media platform we run, like 15 or 20, or you're watching the video as a recorded video on YouTube or our Facebook page, what I'm saying today, you might see this years from now, or you might see it today and discount what I'm saying, but years from now you will realize what I'm saying is this guy was some kind of a, foresee the future. It's not that I foresee the future, I study the future. I love this thing. After journalism, I came up with this idea that I want to be a futurist, and so I started being a technology person. We have a technology company, and a media person. It's a natural thing, right? So what is going to replace this global economic order? We're seeing a reset of the global economic order. The same way you reset your computer, the same way you reset your phone. The world is going through a reset. So COVID is paving way for the way for three things to happen, and we talked about this before. The Sustainable Development Goals. There are 19 goals of the United Nations called the Sustainable Development Goals, and sustainable is the operative word there, because it's to implement some goals, including guaranteed basic income and universal health care and universal secondary education. Those are three of the goals, but there are 19 goals to bring about full rights to the individual, human rights. Most humane society in the history, that's the ambition of the SDG goals. They are far off track. They're not on time. They're supposed to be done by 2025. They're now talking about pushing it to 2030. Of course, much of it will be done by 2025. So they have to disrupt a lot of society to dismantle this economic order so they could bring those goals in place. For example, countries are kicking back against, a lot of political parties are kicking against a guaranteed basic income. A lot of politicians in parliaments around the world are saying, where are we going to get the money from? They're focused on the old thinking. Money, money, money. Where are we going to get the money from to pay the whole population $1,000 or $2,000 a month? Which is the goal of the Sustainable Development Goal. Guaranteed basic income would give people no questions asked, nothing at all, free, what they call free money, but government money, which is taxpayers' money. And a lot of politicians, this is why they have to do it through emergency measures, because no parliament would vote for it in the whole world. These politicians who say voters vote for me, and a lot of the voters say yes, we want guaranteed basic income. Of course, a lot of voters also say they don't want it, but there is that dynamic going on. And so the the Sustainable Development Goals are a big thing, and we have to, not we, but whoever, let's say that, has to set the stage, has to create events, social engineering, to make those things happen, which is a good thing. It's a humane thing. And then of course on top of that we have the Great Reset, which is the World Economic Forum, or the brainchild of Prince Charles and some other thinkers, not only him but Bill Gates and all of them. And they came up with this name, the Great Reset, and they wrote a paper and they presented it to the World Economic Forum, and the World Economic Forum said, we're going to present it to the countries of the world, and the countries of the world said, yes, this looks good, let's do it. And so they're preparing to implement that as well, which is also going to, like it's happening in America, remake the infrastructure and smarten buildings and reduce pollution and all that. And then of course we come to clean climate. Out of COP26, this conference in Glasgow, England last year, 200 nations signed an agreement, a pact, a testament, if you will, that they would agree to reduce carbon footprint, that it would reduce the amount of pollution they put in the air. And they have to do it very quickly, they have to do it, and of course there's a lot of kickback. A lot of people, not when I say kickback, I don't mean bribe, I mean pushback, right? From China and India, who are saying, oh, America polluted the world, and Canada and the rich countries of the world for decades, and now we are getting rich, we're developing, and they want us to reduce our carbon footprint. So India and China, for example, refused to sign the agreement, and they had to come up with a different version and stuff. But anyway, the clean climate agenda is a huge thing as well. So we have these three amazing things happening: clean climate agenda, sustainable development goals, and the Great Reset. World Economic Forum, World Health Organization, and the environmental UNDP or something, it's United Nations Environmental Program, UNEP. They are all involved in leading this thing with the elders and all that. Now this is the background of what's going on. And so I want us to know, I want the people around us to know that what we're seeing in the world today is the Great Reset, the SDGs, clean climate, and we must not panic. We must ride the camel, we must ride that horse that is galloping into the future. So what kind of future are we looking at if the economic order is going to be reduced and going to be reformed? How much more time do we have? Oh, we're wrapping up soon. What is going to replace the world economic system, the world economic order that we have? If they reform it, if they are dismantling it, what is going to take its place? What is going to take the place of money? What is going to take the place of the financial system? How are the banks going to reorganize? The banks won't lose. The rich don't lose. The powerful don't lose. They flow with the tide. If the tide changes, they change with the tide. They have the resources to do that. And so we would see even the banking system, adopt the new society and fit in and still dominate. But what is that new society? This is what we would focus on this show, and I hope you join me. I hope the information, we do research, and this is kind of a reporting on it, but we're also writing these things in stories. We're going to put them in very exciting stories on ebooks. We're already working on, we have an ebook, so a multimedia ebook is what we're going to do one a week. We're going to put out one using AI, but also writers, authors. We're going to develop stories to tell these things. So exciting stories. We really want to play in the ebook space online, the multimedia ebook space. So we have our e-commerce ebook site. It has about 175 books on it right now, and it's live. It's there, including our cryptocurrency as well, which would be used to buy those books. But we're developing all that, right? And we're going to be telling these stories in very exciting fictional stories by ebooks about the metaverse and NFT and Bitcoin. We're going to paint the picture of what the future is going to look like through stories and put it out there. And also we'll be doing this live and developing this media part of the company into a platform that can really get this kind of message out, because nobody's really doing this kind of stuff. We have the media talking, a lot of the journalists, they don't really get what's going on. They don't connect the dots, right? We had a whole generational gap between training journalists how to think critically. And that's a problem today in society, because these journalists, including the big media companies, they can't put the dots together. They can't put the dots and form a line and say, oh, that's the pattern, that's what I see, that's what journalism is supposed to be. You're supposed to look at the dots all over the place and connect the lines and see the pattern that is showing up, right? Journalists don't do that anymore. We do it. We're doing it because we have a media department for our company. So here's what's going to replace the economic order that is now collapsing. Collapsing might be a big word because it's not really collapsing. They're folding it gradually. They're going to fold it up and push it in the corner. And what's going to replace it is a world, a society, a system based entirely, totally, and absolutely on technology. So what am I saying? Technology is replacing money. Technology is replacing money. That's the system we're moving into. That's why COVID is here. By 2025, we're well entrenched in a system where we're buying and selling by technology. We might still call it money or the monetary system or cryptocurrency or crypto dollars or crypto or digital dollars, whatever we call it, we still might use the same language and the metaphor of money might still be alive, but the whole entire system is already going through a magnificent, and I hope you would share my view, that it is magnificent, a revolution in humanity rising to a new level, a higher level of being human. What does it mean to be human is a question that we ask. It's on the screen there. If you look at the screen, one of the questions we ask is, what does it mean to be human? Or maybe it's not on the screen. But we have four things that we deal with: altering our future, the design life, intelligence for the digital age, and of course the lifestyle of abundance. But we base our entire operation on questions. Like Peter Drucker said, the best thing to do is ask questions, not come up with answers. One of the questions we ask is, what does it mean to be a human being? Well, that's what the Great Reset is doing. The Great Reset, SDGs, and climate is rising. It's aiming. The goal is, the intention is to lift humanity to a higher level of what it means to be a human being, right? And so it's exciting. And what it means to be a human being is not to depend on economics and money and finances and external physical stuff. What it means is to depend on, so what the world is moving into is technology augmenting our humanity. Technology becoming like how we wear clothes, fashion, right? How we wear glasses to see if we have eye stuff to deal with, right? We augment who we are by our fashion, by our dress, by our hair, by our posture, our education. All those things augment who we are, right? And these things we're going to delve in over the next few days, over the next few weeks, over the next few months. Stay with us, ride with us. It's going to be an exciting year, exciting times. We have a lot going on, and we want to tell you, and we want you to engage with us and tell us. Let's have that conversation. Maybe we start open up messaging on the show as well, where we can actually have a conversation, also through our books and everything, on the merits of all these things. When we say technology is being used to augment the human being and it will replace the world economic system that is in place right now, in other words, the individual will be empowered through technology, not to be subservient and dependent on a global economic system that the bankers control. That's really going to happen. And, somebody called me. We're wrapping up soon. So, technology is the future and media is the future. Before I wrap up, let me say something and then we're going to continue the conversation tomorrow. Every human being, you, me, all of us, we're mediated humans. That idea I'm going to really elaborate on. We spoke about it before in the past, but we're going to really elaborate on it this week and throughout the whole month of January. That a human being, you are a mediated person. And I'm going to talk about that tomorrow, what I mean by that. Media is everything. You are plugged into media, media is plugged into you. You're everything, the whole world we live in is mediated. Like Marshall McLuhan said, we're living right smack in the middle of a mediated space. And Elon Musk said we're living in a simulation. He'd given an interview recently, it was aired on our social media, and he said, he's convinced we're living in a simulation. What he means by that is that we're mediated. Media has enhanced us, augmented us. So we're going to elaborate on that idea. And where the media comes from is out of technology. So technology causes media which augments the human being. That's the idea we're going to go with. And with this empowered individual, this empowered person, no longer do we need a global system that is the human being has to conform to and subject ourselves to, wake up and go plug ourselves into that system. Now plug ourselves into technology, and the technology is personalized. These ideas we're going to develop over the next few days, over the next few weeks. Again, it's good to see you again. Well, I can't see you, but you can see me. The reporters have a way of saying, see you next week. They can't see you. They're in front of a camera. You can see them, right? So we're going to go with reality, not fantasy. It's good to be back. It's good to be back online, and after 2 weeks break over the holidays, and I hope more and more people join us this year. We got to do a lot of marketing and developing the show now that we have established kind of the framework of the whole show and what we're all about. We're going to fall into a rhythm despite the lockdown tonight. Ontario is going into a lockdown tonight at midnight. To me, that's exciting because it means society is changing faster. We're going to go into the world of technology and media and leave behind the world of economics. The world of economics has outlived its usefulness. We need to enhance our life with technology and media, and that's where we're going into the future. So have a good evening, and I'll be here with you guys. You'll see me again tomorrow, those of you who join us. And please have people, if you know people in your life who are hungry, ambitious, original thinkers, visionaries, have them check out our videos, right?